On today's episode, we are looking at the finances of a 34-year-old man. He works as a security officer. He says he's worried about his finances because his friends and peers are buying houses, they are buying cars, while his life is stuck in one place and he has nothing to his name. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Itumeleng. I'm a qualified management accountant. And on this channel, I help ordinary people like you learn how to start saving money, get out of debt, invest, and ultimately build wealth. If that is something you're interested in, please do subscribe and become a part of our growing rich family. Now let us get into the finances of our brother. His net salary as a security officer is 8,500 rands. That's not a bad income, right? A lot of the security officers that I know make far less. So I thought 8,500 rands was not bad, but he said no, it's terrible. This company does not pay well, and he's currently looking at other companies that do pay well. So, but it's a whole lot better than a lot of people, and it's better than nothing. So I think 8,500 rands for a security officer is not bad. We can work with this. It's a good starting point, but if he does end up getting something better somewhere else, that's even better. Now let us look at his savings and investments as well as his debt balances. Savings and investments, he has a 32-day notice account. The balance there is 12,000 rands. Fixed deposit, 70,000 rands. In total, his savings and investments are 82,000 rands. Okay, that is a lot of money for his income. For someone that earns less than 10,000 rands monthly, having 82,000 rands in savings is a lot of money. So I'm curious, what's really bothering you? What's got you so stressed? Because he was really stressed. He could barely talk because he says his finances are stressing him. He said, but ma'am, I don't have a car. I don't have a house. And all my friends have cars and they have houses and I have nothing. First of all, we are using the term nothing pretty loosely because 82,000 is not nothing. 82,000 is a lot of money. And even some of the people you're comparing yourself to, if you really saw their finances, if you really knew what is happening, because the truth is you don't know what's happening with anyone. You just see them with a house and a car and then you automatically assume they're doing better than you. Some of these people that you're comparing yourself to would kill for 82,000. Some of these people don't have 82,000, So I know, like, when you compare yourself to people, you want to look at everything that they have that you don't have. And we barely ever look and say, no, they might have the house, they might have the car, but I have 82,000 and that's a whole lot of something. It's not nothing. 82,000 is not nothing. And let's talk about the house and the car. Some of the people that you're looking at and you're comparing yourself to have these cars, have these houses on credit, and they're barely affording it and they have their own problems. Everyone has their own problems. There's a cost to everything. So that is why comparing yourself to people doesn't really work. And even if, they have the house and they have the car and they're able to afford them comfortably, that is good for them. Congratulations to them. That is just to show us that, things like this are possible. My friends have that. My peers have this. That means I can also get it. But it has to be something that you really want. Because a lot of us look at someone's house, someone's car, and we assume that is what we are also supposed to get, and that is what we compare ourselves against, despite having things of our own that are doing pretty well. So I said to him, we are talking about a house and a car, as the two things that are bothering you, the two things that you're very worried about. And this is mainly because it's what he's seeing around him. He says every other day someone has bought a house, someone has bought a car, but I'm just stuck in one place with nothing. I have nothing. Okay. First of all, if he wants a car, I said to him, if you want a car, you could get it today. You could even buy two. With the 70,000 that he has in a fixed deposit, that could buy two cars today, cash. You buy a second-hand, what? Tez, Polo, Suzuki, whatever, those cars are there. But there are a lot of good cars as well. Good cars in a good condition that you can buy for 50,000. You pay cash and you're out of there. And then you also become, one of those friends that has a car. If that is something that you really want, you can afford to get a car today. He said, oh. I said, yeah, you can go to We Buy Cars right now. Go to the internet and just look around. You will see there are a lot of good cars within your budget, within the amount that you actually have in the bank. You wouldn't even need to finance it. You could buy it cash and still be left with some money in the bank. And something really interesting happened. The minute he realized that he could indeed afford a car, he could withdraw from his fixed deposit, whenever it matures. He could take the money from his fixed deposit and buy a good car, cash. When he realized that was not that much out of his reach, he said, you know what? I see a car. I see I could afford a car. Fine, good. Let me tell you something. I don't want a car. I don't want a car anymore. Now let's work on getting me a house. Do you see what happened there? The minute he realized that he could get a car, he didn't want it anymore. He wanted to start another problem. He does not like peace. He wants problems only. So he knows he can afford a car. He does not want it anymore. He wants a house because he thinks he would not afford a house. He wants something to stress over. He wants something that always shows him that he cannot afford, that he does not measure up. But I've got news for you. Even a house you can get for 70,000. I mean, it just depends on the kind of a house. It could be a shack. It depends on the area as well. But even a house you can afford. Of course, he wants a decent house. It would just be a matter of building a house fund from the savings that he already has and proper planning. But the things that are stressing him, the car and the house, he can afford. Just need a good plan to know by when do you want it? What kind of a house do I want? What kind of a car do I want? And if you really want those things, then, by all means, it's possible. The only thing that he should work on here, not even like big things, just a little bit of a restructuring for him to be able to maximize the nice savings that he already has going. The fixed deposit will not mature for the next 2 years, so we can leave it there. The 32-day notice, we should do away with the 32-day notice and put this in an easily accessible bank account, a savings account, or even a money market fund. A 32-day notice account cannot be an emergency fund because in case of emergency, you have to put in notice or you have to pay penalties for early withdrawal. So we have to make sure that this emergency fund is easily accessible. It can be in an account that still earns interest but must be immediately available. So emergency fund, leave the fixed deposit until it matures, and then we decide then what we do with it. And then another thing that we should add on here is a TFSA, especially because he does not have any other retirement tool. But otherwise, you are on the right track. You are doing pretty good. When I told him he was doing well, for some reason, he didn't believe me. So I don't know. It's probably his first time meeting me because, if he knew me, he would know. So you guys let him know. Tell him what are your thoughts on his finances, maybe he might believe you. Now let's look at his debt balance. Truett's 1,158 rands, Ackerman's 5,900 rands. In total, his debt balance is 7,058 rands. Now, because he likes problems, this is a problem. The debt balance is quite high. This is high for his income because this is almost the equivalent of his monthly salary of 8,500 rands. So this debt balance, the clothing accounts, we need to work on reducing or eliminating completely. He said he doesn't want to eliminate them completely because he would like to have a credit record for when he buys the house. Remember, for now, the dream, the goal is the house. So what he can do is reduce this balance to nothing more than 1,000. Now let's look at his monthly expenses. Rent, 1,400 rands. Electricity, 500 rands. Scorpion, 140 rands. Transport, 1,000 rands. Wi-Fi, 220 rands. Clothing accounts, 300 rands. Food and toiletries, 1,000 rands. I know some of you are going to think the food and toiletries is AI, ne? A lot of you will not believe that it's possible to spend 1,000 rands on food because you've gotten yourself used to spending 13,000 at Woolies. Learn from our brother here. You can spend 1,000 on groceries and then you build a savings account portfolio like him. You see, we are learning. And our brother thought he has nothing. He has a whole lot more. He even has money lessons for us to learn. Funeral cover, 390 rands. This is for him and some of his family members. He does not have a partner. He does not have kids. He said, I'm too focused. I don't want stress. So I don't want a wife. I don't want a baby. I just want to stay locked in and achieve my goals. Okay. That is fine. Stockfell, 500 rands. This is the December Stockfell. He gets the money in December and he just uses it to enjoy his holidays. I think that's great because during the year, he's not someone that has a lot of fun. So having that fun in December, it's good. Haircut, 20 rands. You see, you could learn something. It does not have to cost a lot to cut your hair. Airtime, 50 rands, and then 32-day notice savings, 3,000 rands. That is a lot of money for him to save. That is 35% of his take-home salary. That is a lot. That is incredible work. That is really good. In total, his monthly expenses are 8,520 rands. So that is over his income by 20 rands. That is coming from the haircut. If he cut the haircut, he would be in line. So the haircut is the pandemic. I'm joking. But as you can see, his expenses are very much in line with his income. So another thing that you can see from him is he's really good at managing his money. Extremely good. For him to have about 82,000 in savings, there are some people that earn double what he earns, triple what he earns, and they don't have 82,000. Just for my market research, if you are that person, if you earn far more than our brother here, but you don't have 82,000, please let me know in the comments. This is again just to show him that, some of you guys might have houses, you might have the cars, but you don't have 82,000. I want him to see that some people might have some things that you don't have, but you also have some things that a lot of people envy, that a lot of people are still working towards. And that is also something worth celebrating. That is something to count and see that you're doing something good with your life as well, so that you can stop saying, I have nothing to my name. Now, because he says he does not want the car, the car thing, no, put the car aside. Let's work on me getting a house. He says he'll get the house in a year or 2 years. So we'll start working on getting his finances ready for him to buy that house. We are going to start with his monthly savings of 3,000 rands. He will continue to put that in a savings account or a money market fund for his emergency fund until his emergency fund is at least 30,000 rands. That's about 3 months of his expenses, right? Put 3,000 into your emergency fund until you reach 30,000. He currently already has 12,000, so he's not too far off. Then once the emergency fund is done, we are going to use this 3,000 to start investing in a TFSA. Put the 3,000 every single month in a TFSA. We've already worked on setting up investment accounts for him, so he's just waiting for the emergency fund to be done. Then he's going to start investing in a TFSA. Remember, he has 70,000 in a fixed deposit account. That money will continue to grow, and when the time comes for him to buy a house, he can use some of that towards the deposit and transfer costs and all those costs associated with buying his place, buying his house. And another thing that I showed him is currently, as it is, he could get a house today if he wanted. He could get that place that he wants. The place that he wants costs around 5,000 all inclusive, including rates and taxes. So it would cost him 5,000 monthly. There is 5,000 here for him currently to buy the place, to buy the house that he does want. Let me show you the amount of 1,400 rands that's going towards rent. Clothing accounts 300 rands, assuming he paid it off by the time he gets this place. And then the stokvel amount, we would have to let go of the stokvel. And then the 32-day savings of 3,000 rands. When you add all of those together, they amount to 5,200 rands. So he would be able to afford the place and even have 200 rands change. So even now, if he did want the house, if he was to buy the house today, he would be able to. So that is also something really important. That is also very freeing for him. He took a deep breath when he recognized that even a house he could get today just as easily as he could get a car today. A lot of times we feel like some things are out of our reach. We cannot afford some things because you've never really sat down and ran the numbers, So we are not even saying get the car today. We are not saying get the house today, but the peace, the freedom of knowing that I do afford it today. I could get it today. I would be able to pay for this place today, but I am making the decision to get it in 2 years when, I'm very far with my emergency fund. My TFSA has been compounding for some time, and my fixed deposit has also been accumulating interest. Another important thing to note about the house, although he would be able to pay for the house without the stokvel and without the savings, he would not be able to have any money left over to put towards savings. He would not be able to continue to build an emergency fund, to invest towards a TFSA, or to invest towards anything, any sinking fund, no fund, no clothes, nothing. He would just be able to have this house and then all his money is gone, right? And we cannot have that. That won't fly either. So I said to him, you know what? It would be really nice if by the time you get the house, your income has increased a little bit. With him saying he's looking for other jobs, that would really come in handy if they pay him more. But we cannot count on that. We cannot bank on that. We cannot sit around and wait for a better job opportunity to find us. If it does, even better. But for now, you need to get started on some sort of an extra income. In the meantime, before the pressure even starts heating up, before you absolutely need it, before you are in your house and you're broke from making the bond payments, while you're still fine, while you can still afford your life and afford to save, start building an extra income. So what is something that you can start? Have you ever thought of any extra income source? He said, actually, yes, I've been watching TikToks and there's this thing that I think I can get started. There's something that I can be able to sell that would potentially give me an extra 1,000 rands every single month. I'm not going to tell you what he's going to sell because I know you guys. You're going to be looking at the security officer at your estate, at your place of work, and you're going to say, Haibo. Oh yeah, now with the fat cakes, this is the one. No. So all you need to know is that he has a plan to generate an extra 1,000, and that is going to be really good for him because once he gets the house, that extra 1,000 rands can continue to go to savings so that he does not get left with absolutely nothing. You know, his favorite word, nothing, you know. So that is our brother. I think he's doing really well, and I think he could get a wife, have a baby. You know, he's so scared of having a family because he feels like it's gonna set him back. That is a topic for another day. For today, please let me know in the comments, what do you think about his finances? You know, give him some word of encouragement, because for someone that's doing so well, he's doing really well, you know, he does not feel like it. So maybe if you guys can encourage him in the comments, it will finally click to him that it's real. You know, some of you guys earn around the same salary as him. Some of you guys have built wealth, built multiple businesses, bought houses, bought cars on an income less than him, or even the same income. So please share your stories in the comments so that our brother can see. Just because your friends are lawyers and engineers and you are a security officer does not mean you have to write yourself off. You also have a lot going on for yourself, and if you just focus on your own goals, your own finances, you'll see that you will go very far. But constantly comparing yourself against people that have different missions, different lives, different goals to yourself will not do you any service. So I hope you found value in this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a big like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, I hope you have a rich day.